All right, welcome back. We've got a fun video for you. We've got a Tesla update and an Everyone Hates Elon Part 2 2025 edition. So a few years ago, I made a video called Everyone Hates Elon, and I covered the brewing hate in 2022 to 2024. We talked about the Delaware courts voting Elon's $55 billion pay package, the chaotic Twitter acquisition, and other accusations when it came to Elon Musk. Now, if we fast forward to March of 2025, the hate has intensified largely due to Elon's political alliances and the DOGE Commission. So the key issues we're going to talk about is Tesla stock is sliding, brand image is under assault, and protests are flaring up everywhere. What does this mean for the future of the company? So really quick to recap the first Everyone Hates Elon video. We had the pay package that was voided. Elon's $55 billion compensation plan in 2024 was voided. The judge called it unfair to shareholders. This was the biggest pay package in history. Elon and the business Tesla said that they put out milestones. If achieved, Elon could get this pay package. Now, at the time, these milestones were way out of reach. A lot of people laughed at them. Didn't think this was even possible in 20 years, let alone the timeline that was put forward. But the company succeeded and they reached all those milestones, and he should be entitled to the funds. So there was a shareholder vote that after last year, the shareholder vote said, pay the man, let's overrule the courts. We want to pay him his money because he caused a lot of shareholder value to be increased. So that's the Delaware pay package drama. You had the Twitter acquisition in 2024. Elon bought Twitter for $44 billion. Critics predicted disaster. The legacy media and skeptics called it an overpayment. Many claimed his massive cost cutting would doom the platform. We'll talk more about that in just a moment. You had other beefs with the FTC probing into Starlink, claiming that they built a glass house for Elon to live in. And there were other rumors and investigations when it came into Starlink. And SpaceX, there was also a lot of regulatory red tape that was put up to prevent Starlink from doing certain launches and other projects that they had to move around and go to Texas for and do all kinds of jumping through hoops. You also had the Biden administration snubbing Elon, favoring GM, and not inviting Tesla to the White House EV summit. This was pretty comical. You had all the EV companies from Ford, GM, I think you even had Fisker. They were all on the White House lawn, and the White House at the time praised GM for being the leader in American EVs when that year they only made 30 electric vehicles and Tesla made over hundreds of thousands of vehicles, and they were not invited. The reason for that is that Tesla is a non-union workforce, and at the time the unions were giving a lot of money to that administration, and so that administration had to show favoritism to their donors. You also had personal life rumors such as Elon is on drugs, he's partying all the time, he's losing his mind, yada, yada, yada. So the core theme here is, even then, Elon was a lightning rod for challenging legacy institutions, government, unions, mainstream media, and pushing back against the establishment. We also had the Twitter files. I'm not going to get into so much of that, but when he bought Twitter, there was a lot of unveiling of how social media was pushing certain narratives, silencing certain individuals, and trying to cultivate, working with the government to cultivate certain narratives that they wanted to have out there. So I'm not going to get into all that, but a lot of establishments didn't like that because they were getting a little bit of exposed on some of their tactics. So now let's move on to the new hate. So you've got DOGE, politics, and Tesla backlash in 2025. So you've obviously got Elon's political pivot. He used to be a Democrat, used to not talk a lot about politics. Now he's gone full dark MAGA, aligning with Trump and DOGE in early 2025. So there's been a lot of the DOGE fallout. You've got thousands of federal workers laid off, entire programs reduced or eliminated. And you've got the Tesla takedown. Protests are erupting nationwide, showrooms picketed, cars vandalized and lit on fire, and charging stations also being torn up. So critics label DOGE as a power grab and worried about privacy and transparency, and Musk's deeper access to the government systems. So with all that being said, Tesla's brand is in the crosshairs. Sales are down 45% Europe, 49% in China for 1 month year over year. So the February sales are down over 50% or nearly 50% in both of those markets, while you have competitors like BYD making gains, and many are blaming Elon's politics for alienating mainstream buyers. So you've got the political divide. Democrats are increasingly disliking Tesla. 32% of US buyers won't consider the brand. That is up from 27% last year. And I've seen these bumper stickers for years now, but they're mentioning them now. I bought this car before Elon went nuts. And you've also got a similar sentiment growing from analysts. They are seeing all-time low favorability scores for Tesla, and a growing consensus that Musk political moves are overshadowing the products at Tesla and Tesla's strengths. So when it comes to the stock, it is down 41% in 2025. It had its worst day in 5 years in March 17th, and the market cap is now under $1 trillion, currently $780 billion. So again, some more analyst talk. It is Elon's DOGE focus is damaging Tesla's future, and you've got 85% of investors see his politics as negative or extremely negative for the company. Okay, so we already talked about the backlash, but you've got, apparently there's all these protests that are scheduled to happen this weekend, so we'll see what happens. We already talked about the stock price, so we'll skip over that. But let's get into my take here. So my take is, how much of this is fear? How much of this is reality? There's a lot of reality of people lighting cars on fire, keying cars, and sales are down. Now, we will see Tesla is a vehicle business right now. That's where they make the majority of their revenue. And vehicles are a very cyclical business. The airlines were down 30% last week, and we are in potentially 5 red weeks in a row in the market. So the stock market has a lot of uncertainty right now with tariffs, interest rates, weak consumer, and when you have Tesla, you've got the added kicker, the added sweetener of all this political nonsense. So that is all weighing down the stock, and Tesla's getting hit hardest because it's got at least all 4 of those recipes for disaster, ingredients for disaster. But I'm having a little bit of deja vu when it comes to Twitter, because there is for sure a lot of reality of all those things I just mentioned, but there's also a lot of fear of what is to come, like Elon Musk taking your social security check and taking your social security number and things like that when it comes to Doge. So let's look back. In 2022, the skeptics said Twitter would crash immediately under Elon Musk. Yet, as of March of 2025, it has regained the $44 billion valuation he paid, far from the doom many predicted. So at that time, he bought Twitter, and we went into a market correction. So the valuation that he paid looked terrible. He went into Twitter, he cut 90% of the workforce, and the narrative at the time was, this platform will never work with only 10% of the workforce. All the advertisers are leaving because of the Twitter files and the things that were on the platform. And also, people were laughing at the price that he paid as we went to a market correction, and it did look like he overpaid at the time. Fast forward to today, the platform is at highest engagement, all-time highs. They just raised money at the $44 billion valuation, so the business is back to the valuation that he paid for, and you've got advertisers that have returned. So none of those realities or none of those fears ever realized. Now, when we talk about Doge, many critics have the repeated talking points about apocalyptic outcomes, slashing Social Security, ending climate funding, cutting foreign aid, but so far the biggest confirmed changes are workforce reductions and some program cuts. Sounds similar to Twitter. He went in there and he did make big workforce cuts, but it wasn't like the platform was shutting down and all those other fears never realized. So there could be a similar gap between fearful speculation and the actual events, as it is reminiscent of the Twitter story. To be determined. Now, real things could really blow up. but we don't know. And I don't think it's in anyone's interest, especially this current administration, to go take your grandma's social security check, because no one's going to like that. There's other fraud or waste that they can cut before they go after taking people's entitlements. So it's things like that that just don't make sense to me and aren't happening right now, but people are very fearful of those things happening because Elon could be, he appears to be a loose cannon a lot of the times, especially if you just look at his Twitter. So the root of the hate, Elon remains staunchly anti-establishment. He's challenged media, unions, and now the embedded federal institutions via DOGE. Government cheese. A lot of people have been supported by government cheese. A lot of these federal institutions have been getting these big checks, these big kickbacks, and that is the fraud that they're looking to go in and clean up, and that establishment doesn't like it. So this push for efficiency threatens entrenched powers, driving them to strike back through fear-based narratives. And this is hurting Tesla's outlook. So the stock is hurting, the brand sentiment is near rock bottom, and the firm is losing sales. However, Tesla has weathered crisis before, from production bottlenecks, short seller attacks, margin compression, just global uncertainty. They've been through the pandemic. They went through 2008. So they've been through plenty of rodeos here. And there are still some analysts, such as Wedbush, that still project a $550 long-term target, banking on Tesla's continued tech innovation. So everything we talked about, we haven't talked about the innovation when it comes to full self-driving, robotics, the energy business. You still have a lot of good things going for Tesla. When it comes to the car piece, there could be some more bumps because of people's sentiment when it comes to the brand, but it doesn't change the fact that, in my opinion, they still have the best cars in the world. If I had any car out there, I want a Tesla, and then the next thing I would want would be a Porsche 911, but who doesn't want a Porsche 911 or a Lamborghini? But anything below that, I want to drive a Tesla. They're the safest cars, they're fast, and they're very easy to function with all the technology. I don't want anything else. The maintenance is absolutely zero. They're coming on Thursday to rotate my tires. They're gonna come to my house and do the maintenance in my driveway. I don't have to go anywhere, and it's $65. What's better than that? No oil changes. You've got no fill up at the pump. All that stuff that we've talked about many times when it comes to owning a Tesla. So that is all still intact, and until we see those things devolve, my position on Tesla hasn't changed. Yes, it is gut-wrenching to see the stock go up hundreds of percent and then down 50% and all over the place, but this is what we've seen time in and time again when it comes to the volatility of Tesla. So my final thoughts here. Elon has been a disruptor, and the hate is at all-time high because he's now disrupting government and government cheese instead of just tech and media. The fear-driven narrative doesn't always reflect reality. Twitter's rebound stands as proof, and also Tesla's multiple ups and downs. When it's when the sentiment's down, it's down, and when the sentiment's up, it's euphoric and it's irrational exuberance. We see these highs and these lows. This is another potential low. Stock may keep going down, but sentiment, we'll see if it can get worse than this. I have a hard time. I think we're getting near the peak of Elon hate, but we'll have to wait and see. So, will politics ruin Tesla? The brand is more polarized than ever, with real impacts on sales and market perception, yet past doom predictions often fell flat. Is this current wave of fear justified, or more of the same cycle of, this time he's gone too far? He's gone far this time. I don't know if he's gone far. I'll just leave it at that. He's gone real far, and I do believe that a lot of people will never buy Teslas because of that. But how big is that market? To me, it's still the best car out there. I jokingly said this. I just don't know how many people over the long term will make purchases based on politics. I think over time, the consumer goes to the cheapest, best product, and Tesla is the cheapest, best product when it comes to a vehicle. You can buy a Model Y Performance right now for $36,000. That's a lot of car for that price. But I jokingly said to one of my clients the other day, I said, Bill Gates has been to Epstein Island over 10 times and I still use Microsoft Word. So I don't know if over a long enough time people always reflect this product is, you know, someone that I don't agree with some of the things that they've done has been involved in building of this product. I think the consumer will go to the best product over time. So I am skeptical that this will be the nail in Tesla's coffin. Fear of change often gets amplified, and let's see if Elon can once again defy the expectations. Him and SpaceX just brought back the astronauts. He does a lot of things that no one else has been able to do, and he's still one of the best innovators of our time. So until that changes, I'm still holding my position, and I'm still bullish on Tesla's future. This is gut-wrenching, as I mentioned before, and this is a confusing time, but my thesis hasn't changed until the innovation starts to devolve, and I have not seen that yet, and I will be looking like I always do. So that is my wonderful update. Again, I'm not a political person. This is just my update because Tesla's a big position in my portfolio. It's the first stock I ever bought, and it's grown to my largest position. So I don't see a reason to sell Tesla here. I am looking to buy if we can get another 15% drop, but that is all I got for this video. This is not financial advice, and everyone just have a great day, and less politics, the better for everybody. That's my advice. All right, that's it. Peace out.